How much does it really cost to go to Yale? Well, as a current student at Yale University, I can tell you exactly how much it costs, and that is what I'll be going through in this video, along with all of the different financial aid options available. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day so far. So one of actually probably the most common question that I've been getting since I started studying at Yale is, how much does it cost? Oh my gosh, you must be so rich. Are you on a scholarship? There have been so many questions about the cost, especially from Australians who don't really understand the kind of financial aid system and scholarship system in America, because all we really hear in Australia is, oh my gosh, college in America is so expensive and they don't have HECS. Oh my gosh, how are you affording this? Okay, so I'm gonna break it all down in this video. I actually have my financial information for Yale in this folder because I am on financial aid at Yale, and I will go into that a little bit more later in the video because Yale actually doesn't give scholarships, they give financial aid. And as a fairly old and well-known university with a large endowment, they have a lot of money available for financial aid, so they can give very, very generous financial aid to their students. This financial aid you do not have to pay back. It's not like a student loan or anything. You're not going to have to pay it back. They're just giving you this money to help you with your tuition, and basically you only pay how much your family can afford to pay. So if you can only afford to pay 5% of the billed expenses, then you will pay 5% of the billed expenses, and Yale will cover the other 95% with financial aid, which you do not have to pay back. So I'll go into more of that later in the video, but right now I'm going to start with what I think everybody wants to know, which is the numbers. How much does it actually cost? So I have my financial aid letter here, which has all of the numbers in it, so we're going to go through all of the numbers, exactly how much does everything cost, but just remember that you can get financial aid. I think more than 50% of students are on financial aid, and that financial aid can cover like most of this money. But without financial aid and without scholarships, this is how much it costs to attend Yale. So tuition is $57,700 US. This is all obviously in US dollars, so that's a lot of money. And this is all for 1 year, by the way. So this is 1 year, 2 semesters. And this is for the 2020-2021 academic year. So obviously it will go up a little bit every year because of inflation, but that is tuition for this year. The next expense, so these are all of the billed expenses. So these are all the ones that Yale are going to like charge you for, they are going to bill you for, and then there's unbilled expenses. Next billed expense is room and board, and that comes out at $17,200. So that is going to include your whole dorm room and your common room, and also all of your meals, because all of your meals, if you're staying on campus. I apologize for the birds chirping in the background. They're really loud today. I can't do anything about it. Next expense is the student activity fee, and that comes out at a mere $125 US. I don't know if that's less now because of COVID, because there's not too many student activities going on at the moment. Interesting, I'm not sure. Anyway, and then the final billed expense is hospitalization insurance, which is $2,548. Very specific. I do have health insurance through Yale, so I have my health insurance in the US covered by Yale. I'm not sure if that is this hospitalization insurance, and I'm not sure if that's just an international student thing or if everyone has that, but anyway, that is all of my billed expenses. So my total billed expenses come out to $77,573 US. Now that is a lot of money. Like I mentioned, I am on financial aid. I do not pay that full amount, but that is the full amount if you're just paying the full amount. Then in your financial aid letter, what Yale also does, which I think is really, really good, is they also include unbilled expenses. So you are getting financial aid money for your unbilled expenses as well as your billed expenses. So this is things like, oh well, we'll go through all of them, but there's like travel, like personal expenses, all of those things are on this list. So it's really kind of what you would actually spend in a whole year at Yale rather than just the billed expenses. So first thing on the unbilled expenses is books/personal expenses, and they say this will be about $3,700. So obviously this is an approximation. This is including textbooks and like stationery and any kind of personal expenses like that you will need for college. Obviously it's not including personal expenses like clothes, although actually apparently for people who come from warmer locations to Yale and who are on financial aid, Yale has this winter clothing allowance, and they give you like $1,000 or something to go go towards buying winter coats, winter boots, snow gear and stuff like that, because it snows, it's really cold, and obviously coming from like Australia or somewhere else hot in the world, you don't have any of that stuff. So they do have a winter clothing allowance. I'm not sure, I need to try and access that, because I really need to get snowshoes, and I need to get a winter coat, a proper winter coat, and I need to get snowshoes because I keep slipping over because I'm wearing like my slides in the snow and my sneakers. It's not a good time. Anyway, that was sidetracking, but Yale does have a thing for that, but that's separate. That is not part of this thing. So that's books / personal expenses. Travel expenses, they have allocated $1,550 US, and I think that's just a blanket amount. Possibly a student who's on financial aid who lives in Massachusetts might be getting the same amount of money for travel as me who lives in Australia, even though obviously my travel is going to cost so much more. I'm not sure because I haven't seen anyone else's financial aid letter, but okay, so I hope I've made this clear, but these expenses that I'm telling you, these are the overall expenses. I'm not going to be telling you guys how much I'm paying. I'm not going to say how much financial aid I'm getting. I am going to go into the financial aid and talk about how much you can get and how things might work out, but I'm not going to be telling you how much I am paying to go to Yale, because that is based on my family's financial information. It's also probably secure information, and it's between Yale and my family. It's not something that I'm going to put on the internet because it's my parents' financial situation. Okay, so this is not what I'm paying, okay? What I'm telling you is the overall. I think I've made this clear. It's what it costs without any aid or scholarships. Next on the list is vacation expenses, and that comes out at $1,500. So I guess that's if you went somewhere on vacation. Good times. So vacation is different to travel. So travel is probably like travel to college. Vacation is like holidays. I don't know. Anyway, and then first year allowance. First year allowance. That is $1,000. So I'm not really sure what that is. Is it like pocket money? Are they giving me like, are they including? Anyway, I'm not really sure, but my estimated unbilled expenses, total of that comes out to $7,750. So if you add up the billed expenses and the unbilled expenses, the total cost of attendance, or estimated, obviously it's estimated cost of attendance because these unbilled expenses, they are estimated. Obviously I might have to spend more or less on textbooks, more or less on travel, etc. So they're estimated, but the estimated cost of attendance for me, for Yale, for this year was $85,323 US. And like I said, some of those numbers that I went through might differ a little bit per person, but obviously the tuition is the same. You can see the tuition online. I just before Googled to see if it would come up, because I wasn't sure if I'm allowed to say this stuff, but then I Googled all the stuff that I just told you, and most of it came up like Yale has it on their website, so it's not really anything secret. So I thought, okay, I can tell you. But yeah, if you just Google like Yale cost of attendance, most of these numbers will come up. The tuition is going to be the same for everyone. The room and board is going to be the same for everyone, but some of the little numbers, I don't know, they might change. But that is approximately how much it costs to attend Yale. But like I said, quite a lot of students do not pay this amount. Okay, so this is just the first website that came up, so I'm not sure exactly how accurate it is, but it seems pretty accurate. So more than 50% of Yale students receive need-based aid from Yale, and 64% receive financial assistance from Yale or an outside source. The Yale admissions website, and this is the important part, states that the average scholarship for Yale students was approximately $52,800 for the 2018-2019 school year. So it's probably gone up. Wait, is there more on Yale's website? Because that was not Yale's website. Okay, wow, there is a lot more on Yale's websites. Okay, oh, that is actually very helpful. I will link this website in the description box down below. It's like, okay, all right, we've come to the financial aid section of the video, and I kind of jumped ahead too far. So what is the difference between financial aid and scholarships? Because many Australians that I've talked to haven't really understood what this difference is. So scholarships and financial aid. So there's scholarships, financial aid, and then student loans. Student loans you have to pay back. So you get loaned the money and then you pay it back. Scholarships and financial aid, you do not have to pay that money back. It is given to you, or it's not really given to you, it's just taken off your. So the difference then between scholarships and financial aid is that scholarships are merit-based. At many US colleges, you will hear of people receiving sports scholarships. Sports scholarships are a really big thing in America, and you can also get academic scholarships at most colleges. However, at Yale and at all Ivy League institutions, so Harvard, Princeton, Cornell, Dartmouth, all of those ones, the Ivy League schools do not give scholarships. They don't give sports scholarships, they don't give academic scholarships, they don't give any scholarships, but they do give financial aid. Financial aid is not merit-based, so it's not based on how good you are at sport or music or academics or anything. It is based on how much your family can afford to pay of your tuition and of all of your expenses. It's based on your family's financial situation, not based on how good of an actor or runner or whatever you are. So really, in a way, it's a lot more fair because people who can afford to pay the full tuition will pay the full tuition. People who can afford to pay none of the tuition will not pay any of the tuition, and they don't have to pay the money that they got towards their tuition back. So I am not on a scholarship at Yale. Nobody is on a scholarship at Yale, but I am on financial aid. So you apply for financial aid directly after you submit your application to college, and basically the application is you just put in like my parents filled out the application because it was asking them all about their financial situation, and it just asked you to put in a lot of different details. Obviously it's very private and secure. Your information is not going anywhere, it's just going to the university. You do have to put in quite a lot of information, so it's like how many kids have you got, how many kids are still at school, how much you spend on this, that, how much you earn, etc, etc, etc. It's quite a lot of information because they need all of that information, because what they then do is they do their calculations and they figure out how much your family can afford to pay towards your college tuition and expenses, and the university will pay the rest. So the university will give the rest to you as a financial aid award. You don't ever receive that money because like it's just taken off what you are going to pay the university. And at Yale we are very lucky to have very generous financial aid. So I mean, if your family can only pay $1,000 of this $85,000 estimated cost of attendance, your family will only pay $1,000 and Yale will pay the other $84,000. If you can only afford to pay $5,000, you will pay $5,000. Yale will cover the other $80,000. If you can afford to pay $50,000, you will pay $50,000. Yale will cover the other $35,000. Like, it obviously is going to vary for everyone's situation. And on that website that I was looking at before that I kind of jumped ahead to, it's really interesting. It's got lots of information on approximately how much it will cost you to attend Yale, and it's got heaps of info on there. But what it was saying was families whose total gross income is less than $70,000 US are not expected to make a financial contribution towards their child's Yale education. So that means you would get all of this estimated cost of attendance, the $85,323, Yale would cover all of that for you if you're earning less than $75,000 US per year. Now, obviously, I just want to say disclaimer, don't take my word for any of this information in this video. This is all up to Yale. It's going to be decided between Yale and your family. It will probably vary on a case-by-case basis, so don't take my word as gospel, but I'm just saying this information is available on Yale's website, and that is what it says at the moment. But again, and then it says families earning between $75,000 and $200,000 contribute a percentage of their yearly income towards their child's education at Yale on a sliding scale that begins at 1% of the tuition or at 1% of the cost of attendance and moves towards 20% of the cost of attendance. And then there's this table that you can see like what your annual income range is and how much you might get in a scholarship and what percentage of people qualify. When it says scholarship, it's like a financial aid scholarship. It's not a merit-based scholarship, it's a financial aid scholarship, but technically it's like a financial aid scholarship because a scholarship is something that you don't have to pay back, whereas a loan is something that you do have to pay back, I think. Anyway, you can see like what percentage of people qualified for aid, etc., and approximately how much that aid was at each income range. So that is all available on Yale's website. You can go check that out. Link will be in the description box if I remember, and if I forget, then please remind me and I'll put it in there. My camera battery just died, but we've got a new one in. So yeah, that is how much Yale costs. It's a lot of money, obviously, and that is for 1 year of a 4-year degree, but there is also very, very generous financial aid available. And then you can also get like scholarships and financial aid and student loans, I think, from outside of Yale. But in my experience, Yale has been generous in their financial aid, and there is no way my family could have afforded to pay that amount of money to attend college or university, no matter where it was in the world. But I'm very grateful to have received a financial aid package from Yale that has enabled me to attend college at Yale, because otherwise I couldn't have gone to Yale. So I'm really grateful to the university for that, and I hope that one day I'm in a position where I'm able to give back to Yale and hopefully help fund someone else's education through Yale, because I think it's just like a college education or a university application anywhere in the world at any college or university is such a fantastic opportunity, and tertiary education costs a lot. It's a fantastic opportunity, but it costs a lot of money, and I know there are so many people around the world who can't afford or don't even have access to education at all, let alone tertiary education. So I know I'm in a really very fortunate position, and I am super grateful for that, and hopefully in the future I'm able to help more people kind of experience and have the same opportunities that I've had. So I hope this video has answered your questions on how much Yale costs. I mean, I just gave you all of the figures, so I think they're pretty self-explanatory. But if you do have any more questions, of course, like always, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, and I'll do my very best to answer all of your questions. Again, like I said, please take everything in this video with a grain of salt. This is just my experience. This is just what I think is the case, and I hope you've learned something in this video. I hope it's been helpful or just entertaining or just interesting. Like, I would find this really interesting. I don't know how much it costs to go to uni in Australia. Probably a lot less than this. Actually, no, I do kind of, because I did apply to uni in Australia, and I was accepted into some universities, and I'm just remembering how much they cost. And Australia has HECS as well. But then the thing is, the type of financial aid that Yale has isn't available at most universities. Actually, I don't think it's available at any universities in Australia, which I'm not saying that's bad of Australian unis or anything. I'm just saying, like, it seems like Yale costs like astronomically more than Australian universities do, and it does, but it has very generous financial aid. Anyway, that's how much it costs, so you guys can draw your own conclusions from that. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, because that really helps out my channel, and I would love it if you haven't subscribed. Please go and subscribe down below to help us reach our 100,000 subscriber goal for 2021. I keep saying that. I feel like I need to stop saying 100,000 is our goal. 100,000, let's get to 100,000, because then if we don't get there, but then again, like, anyway, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, because I have over 200 videos on this channel, and they are not stopping anytime soon. So lots of good content is coming your way. So yeah, I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for spending a part of your day watching this video. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Today is the first day of classes at Yale. It's the first day of our semester. Somebody please send help. Okay, so obviously I'm really just feeling really anxious at the moment. One of my suite mates has just tested positive for COVID.